Hi, Dinesh.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Gaurav is already there, huh? He got the match ball, seems like.
Yes, yes, yes. Jaggu sir got me there pretty good.
Yeah, man. We all have our sources, Gaurav. So,
Now I came to know the Bond 007 team now. Whom not to say.
yep.
So we'll give 5 minutes for people to join.
Yep.
Yeah, and Gaurav, all the drama that you did, I told Dinesh. So
Next time I'm gonna ask Dinesh sir to pick the balls for me.
I told Dinesh all the drama that you did, and then Dinesh told me what all you got and what drama you did. So let's keep it secret. Okay?
So, probably you probably don't know, but Gaurav and I played for one team in SSCL.
Mhm.
Gaurav was our captain and I was the manager. So I know everything about him, you know.
No secrets there. Jaggu sir, no
Yeah.
secrets.
The funniest conversation was with Praveen Paul.
He's our
I told him, have your $25 ready? I can explain. He didn't ask any question after that. Mm. Oh, Gautam is here. Shh. The rule enforcer is here. Keep quiet, all of you. Okay. Hey, Gautam.
I think this. I,
And I'm just cautioning everybody that the rule enforcer is here. Please.
you have written it.
What is it?
No, I said you have written it. We need to follow.
That's good. So I think we can get started. So to start with, our joint organizer Dinesh will explain. I'll just sit back, chill, and relax. So Dinesh, all yours.
Oh man. Okay. Yeah. I'll just share my screen, guys. Mainly, I will just go over
Oh
some
my
of the
God.
rules that there were some changes or updates made. So I'm sharing my screen. I hope you guys can see it.
Yeah, we can.
Okay, so the first one is this was regarding having minimum 7 players, right? So the earlier it used to say copying the organizer and other captain. I mean, this is just clarification. I mean, we already follow this, right? You basically put the message in the WhatsApp group of the TCC captains. But the thing is, once you put the message from that time till the other team has the minimum players, uh, they will be penalized, okay, up to a rate of 1 over per 5 minutes. And this applies also to if let's say if the other team is the home team that does not have the 7 players, uh, the timing is until they also set up the ground. Okay, there have been instances where they don't have the kit, the ground is not set up, and they have the players, but the delay is because the ground is not set up. So accordingly they will be penalized. So just remember this. This happened last season with some teams, so that's why.
And
Uh,
and just want to clarify this. That WhatsApp message requirement is only when the umpire is also not there. Okay.
yeah.
If
Okay.
the umpire is there, then we already know that there are less than 7 players, and umpire can take the call there. Okay.
Right. Yeah. And then For the purpose of toss, minimum 7 players are not required. Okay. Again, even a single player present on the field can complete the toss.
Yep.
Just to make it clear. The rest, this is okay. Okay, here, this always comes up. So when playing reduced over games, a bowler can still bowl 4 overs and his maximum limit did not be reduced. Okay. And likewise for T10 tournament, maximum of 2 overs. With regards to this ball hitting the leg or the body first, right? So there will be no run out and everything else is out, excluding run out and stumping. If the ball hits the body first. Just again, this is just to clearly state it. There is always some confusion with these rules. This is fine. Okay. All right. So in the past, in the league, if the umpires cannot change the decision once given, if an umpire does that, then captains have the full power to stop the game, show the umpire the rule, and allow the game to continue only after the umpire sticks to the original decision. So this was the rule in the past, okay? But now, as per the latest rules, up to the next ball is bowled, the umpire can reverse his decision, okay? And it is listed somewhere towards the end. But this is just, there was contradictory statements in the two rules. One said the umpire cannot change his decision, and the other one said umpire can change the decision. So just want to clarify that this will go away now. Okay. If anybody has any questions as I'm going through this rule, right, please feel free to ask. Okay. Again, here, if an umpiring is missed in the playoff game, then the point related penalty will be applied in the next tournament. Again, just to clearly state it, this was something that came up last season. All right, this is the main one. Okay. So in case of bad weather, right, every effort should be made to play the minimum required overs to complete a game. Okay. Minimum required is basically second team batting 10 overs. Okay. Now, if there is a situation where you go to the ground is wet and you feel like, maybe if you delay the start of the game, then you can still complete like 15 overs aside, then try to do that instead of calling off the game completely. Okay. So that's why every effort should be made to play the minimum required overs to complete a game. If by delaying the start of the game, a reduced over, at least 15 overs per side, can be played, then teams and umpire should consider it before calling off the game. And same thing for T10, this count will be reduced by half. Yeah, is it clear? And team batting second should have played at least a minimum of 10 overs. Okay, even if the game is reduced, let's say it's 15 overs aside, the team batting second has to play at least 10 overs to deem the match to be official. And this also applies to playoffs. Okay, even in for playoffs.
10, so it's either 10 or 9, depending on the number of overs.
The number of overs.
Number of overs declared for a full game for the tournament. Like for example, in winter, right, we play 18 overs game throughout. So in that case, it should be 9. Whereas in T20, it should be 10. And in T10, it would be 5.
Yeah.
For the tournament, if we declare that, okay, this is what the game is, then for a game, if you reduce it, it doesn't matter. It has to still complete the half number of overs.
Okay. Here again, this one is regarding the run rate, right? If let's say if the game is affected by rain. In the past, there was some mistake in this calculation. So this is just an update. Basically, the run rate of the team batting second should be higher than the team batting first, right? For them to be the winners. So the target for them is not Earlier, it used to be 15 hours times 5, that is 75 runs,
Correct.
which is equivalent to the net run rate of the team batting first. So that has now been changed to show 15 times 5 plus 1, which is equal to 76. Just remember this, and accordingly, the calculation for the other scenarios have been updated. Okay, this is okay. All this is fine. Not many changes here. Okay. I think only in the
Hello,
last section.
Dinesh bhai. This
Yeah.
is Ankur from Big 12. I just have a question while we are talking about the weather affected games. What if, like, say, for example, team one needs to play a game for whatever reason, like because they want to improve their run rate or whatnot, and team two is not very keen on playing because, they do not want to play the game. In
Yeah.
that case, if the umpire says the game cannot be played, then whether team one can claim that as a win for them or no, like points will
Okay,
be split
so
no matter what, right?
no. So okay, so if it is weather affected, right? If it is like if the ground is not playable, and if the umpire is saying it is not playable, and one of the teams does not want to play, then it is a call off.
Umpire has to be on umpire has to make that call that the ground is not playable, right?
Correct. Yeah. If there is no agreement between the two teams, like one wants to play, other one doesn't want to play, then whatever the umpire says, his decision is final.
It's final. Okay, got it.
Okay.
Thank
Yeah, no problem. Okay, so here, so this was the rule I was mentioning earlier. An appeal can be withdrawn, or the umpires can recall or dismiss batsman at any time before the ball comes into play for the next delivery. Okay, previously a batsman could not be recalled once he or she had left the field. Okay, that was that change. Okay, there was last season again. There was a
So Dinesh,
question
you
regarding
will remove this line, right? The last line which you said you will remove that, right?
this one.
This is not.
No, this is going to be already implemented.
Okay, the previous one will get deleted. So the one
Correct.
you
Yeah.
were. Okay.
Yeah. This
Okay.
was
Okay.
the rules
Because both
like
were right. You did not cancel that line. Okay. So that line is that the previous one is getting deleted. This one stands.
correct. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So this one doesn't have to be red, right? It has to be like it
Yeah.
stays.
No, this was this is just for my understanding,
Okay.
so that I can do the track changes and
Yeah.
only
Yeah.
discuss the items which have been changed.
Okay. So that line goes away. This stays. So basically, a buyer can change the decision. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Leading to more controversies.
I was just about to say that, Jagubai. Will
But
that
it's
not
in the rule
create
book.
more confusion?
But it's in the
I
rule
mean, I'm
book.
just putting it.
Follow the rule book.
I'm just putting it out there. Like
That's
if the
fine.
Yeah, sometimes there are new, young kids and students are coming for umpiring. They will take a decision impulse, and if they get time to think and all, that's okay. I mean, it's both ways, but I think to me, it's this one is better.
See, bottom line is it's in the rule book. Follow the rules.
Mm.
yeah,
That's it.
because
Jagubai, you muted everybody, it seems.
yeah,
I
sorry.
got muted, I think.
Yeah, I just got muted by yeah. So sorry, as I was saying, like if the umpire is allowed to change the decision, it will only create more confusions.
It won't. It won't.
Okay.
Because it's in the rule book. Pretty clear. The
Okay. So
umpire
if I,
can change the decision and as per the rules.
okay, if
Yep.
that's the new rule, then that's fine. Yep.
Yeah. That's why Dinesh is having this meeting to explain the new rules.
Sounds good.
Yep.
Thank you.
Always,
In this case,
when in doubt, follow the rule book. There will be no confusion at all.
At least the captain should pass this information to their players, no matter whether they are new players or existing players. That makes umpire life easy.
That's a good call, Neil. I'll see that you are transferring this to Houston Aeros.
No.
I'll be checking the
This
Houston
comes as
Aeros.
an see.
I'll be,
This comes as an umpire.
I'll be
Check
checking
the
your
team's group.
message. I'm checking your message here in the Houston Aeros group, whether you passed on to the team or not.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
share the
seriously.
recording. Just share the recording of this meeting. You know.
People don't have time to go through the recording, Dinesh. On instant answers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, on a serious note, yes, Neil, you are right. Whoever has attended this meeting, please make sure that your team is updated with the changes in the rules, or send them the recording link and ask them to please go through the recording. That's a good point.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
Okay, the next item was regarding unfair movement by the fielding side. Again, this came up last season. So just to be very clear, right? What is unfair movement? Unfair movement is when a fielder moves sideways after the bowler has started his run up. A fielder can move forward or backward in a straight line. I think this is also ICC rule, so you can follow that. Okay, what else? Yeah, I guess that's it. Yeah, so those are the main changes. Really, the weather affected rule, that is the main change, and this umpire decision can be reversed. So. Okay, anybody has any questions, suggestions?
Hi, Dinesh, this is Balaji from the new team. See, we are still going through the rule. We have not completed the entire pages. So if you have some clarification, I have some clarification, but still if you have a clarification and maybe in the near future. So can we contact you or?
Yeah. Feel free to call me. Yeah.
Okay. So in the page number 3 of the so you will share the updated rule book, right?
Yes. Yeah.
The page number 3 says somewhere if they do not want to hold any item related to the teams and they can keep on the field, right?
Yeah.
And there will be no penalty for the 5 runs penalty. That's only for applicable for the both umpires, right? But if fielder kept the item on the field, then the penalty still apply, right?
Yeah. I think at some point we were allowing water bottles, right? Because of
No.
COVID, I think individual. Yeah.
Not now.
So maybe Jagu, we just remove this rule then.
No, let it
Why?
be. Even no, I'm still umpires, right? You don't know. I want to give that flexibility to umpires.
Okay.
Yeah. It's upon the umpire. You don't
Yeah,
want to
so
force it on the
yeah,
umpire if he doesn't
yeah.
want to hold it. Sorry?
Yeah. So yeah, that's the clarification I have. So
Yeah.
only applicable for the both umpires, even the leg
Correct.
umpires.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and see there are regarding the player eligibility for the playoff. I think that is page number 7, I guess. So my question: the two opponent team gives walkover in the last our 2 games, and one of the player participated on those 2 last games. So will that player be eligible?
So player will not be eligible only based on the walkovers, right? So let's say if the last 2 games you get a walkover, then that player will not be eligible. He has to play at least 1 game from the previous 5 games.
Okay.
So if you get 2 walkovers, then yeah, bad luck.
And also, just to extend that, Balaji, I think if you have not seen it, in the rule book only it is mentioned. If you get a walkover in your last 2 games, okay, then in one of the games you are allowed to put a team.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it is mentioned one of the game, whatever the one game it is mentioned, but so
Correct.
that's the question of my last 2 games.
Yeah.
even the walkover. So one game
Yeah.
should be okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the other point I have noted, but you have covered the leg by is the run out test. Now it is not applicable. Yeah, okay, or body parts, right? Because in the rule book it says run out is applicable, but now you have told the new rules. It's not applicable, right?
Yeah, run out and stumping are not applicable. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, we are still going through that. Satish, you have anything?
No, I'm good, Balaji.
Yeah. How did Satish get transferred from Houston Aeros?
Not only Satish, even Swapnil.
Dinesh sir, I have one question. That first rule discussed that 7 players needs to be there on the ground to start the match. See, most of the time we see, right, like when teams don't have players, they just take batting, right? And if they have 3 matches, they can start the innings. So it only applies to the fielding team that they need to have minimum 7 players.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. It there is a loophole there, but I guess it's okay.
No, there is no loophole. Absolutely no loophole. There is
Yeah,
no.
I thought you have to have 7 players.
No, it's 7 players on the field, not when you're batting. In the field, you should have at least 7
whose
players.
responsibility is it? Umpire's responsibility to double check that both the teams have minimum 7 players.
We cannot do fielding without 7 players.
Correct. That is true.
Yeah, batting. We are saying right. It doesn't matter how many players they will have.
So Gaurav, the thing is, toss you don't need 7 players, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
You can do the toss, and if the team who won the toss is batting and they don't have 7 players, I guess it's okay.
Okay.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Fielding team should have minimum 7. That is
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Dinesh, sorry, one more. Page number 10. You say every player should attempt to come in cricket wides.
No, I removed that one. Yeah.
Okay.
I think because I didn't discuss here, but yeah, I removed that one. No point. Nobody comes in white. Everybody wants fancy jerseys, so.
Because we have
Except
ordered the new
SLCC.
jersey, colorful.
Oh yeah, SLCC is still there. Yeah, SLCC
No,
still has
that
the
is-
whites.
If you see the rule, right, it says should attempt. So Dinesh said, let us take it off. No attempt.
I've tried to shrink this rule book as much as possible. Okay, guys, anybody has any other questions?
So there's like one more question. There's one more question that comes up regularly is that like are shorts allowed in TCC tape ball, right? They are allowed. We don't force people to wear full pants. And my response is, as long as you are covered where you need to be covered, you're good.
Is there an ICC definition for where you have to be covered?
Sorry?
I said, is there an ICC definition for where should be covered?
Guys, there's no definition. If you go by ICC, you have to come in full whites or full pant. Here in summer and all, right, it's very hot. So we are not restricting players from wearing shorts. Yeah.
So Jagubai, last season there was a discussion about adding some markers for the the boundary at Matske, and
Correct.
has anything been done on that?
Yeah, following up.
Oh, okay.
It will be done. Yeah. It's in the queue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
But it will happen one day.
Thank you for bringing that up, Dinesh bhai. That was my question actually.
Okay. Yeah, man. There is always a unnecessary argument at the start of the game.
Yes, and this happened like a couple of times when the home side set up the ground, and then the other team started like, hey, the boundary is very far away, you need to put it closer and whatnot. So if we have those markers, it becomes very easy.
Yep.
Yeah. So the thing is, right, we are definitely the marker will come one day because it's there in most of the grounds other than Matsky West. Markers will come one day, but till then, right, uh, whoever is playing, they need to be prudent to handle the issue properly if it comes up. And the way to handle the issue is, if the home team has done the boundaries and if the opponent team has a problem, take out the measuring tape, show, and close the issue, rather than spending 15 minutes in arguing, no, that is what it is, right. No, follow the rules. Always follow the rules. As per the rules, the measurement is supposed to be so many yards. Pull the tape, show him, shut out the discussion.
Yep.
Okay?
Sounds good.
Yep. As
Okay.
long as you have that one thing in your mind, follow the rules, there will be no issues.
Hi, Jagdish bhai, Amit here.
Yes.
So, I mean, this is a slightly sensitive topic which you have already mentioned in the group about the TCC and that urination problem or whatever it is that happened previously. Can can something be arranged near like a honey bucket or something? Is it possible?
No, that's not possible. So the county says there is already a proper restroom, so they are not going to put temporary restrooms. That is the
Oh,
county's counter to it, and we are requesting them. It's not
okay.
that we don't understand. We are requesting, but that's the county's counter right now. There is a restroom. There's a proper full-fledged restroom, so there
Mm-hmm.
is no justification to put uh, temporary restrooms.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And just to add on to that, is there any possibility to increase the time duration for each match which happens in JPL grounds?
Who is this?
So this is Shiva here.
Shiva. Which Shiva?
Shiva from
Shiva from
HCCC.
HCCC.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shiva. This discussion came up in the WhatsApp group also, and there are
Yeah, I
guidelines.
understand there is already a way to handle it, but just since we have ground, I mean, most of the ground availability, is it possible to increase the duration of the game?
No. Follow the guidelines.
So Shiva, I think, I mean, for summer and majority of the time, right, in Houston, we have 4 hours. I think 4 hours is plenty. Even if you take a break, you know,
Yeah, it's
like a
mainly in the
20-minute
winter
break.
time, right?
Yeah.
That
So
is
winter
when.
time, I guess what we can do is whenever, I mean, obviously when I do the scheduling, if I have a chance to, you know, maybe schedule only 2 games, then I give that extended break. But if not, then either manage or else, you know, play reduced hours.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions?
In the rule book, you mentioned the captain and manager. Manager means the manager of the specific team. I mean, we have to arrange one of the guys a manager. I just wanted to understand.
No, it's just, I mean, a vice captain can be the manager, captain can be the manager. It's just, you know, if there is a additional player, sometimes somebody like me who I don't really play much in the playing 11, but I am there always. So you can consider me as manager. So
Okay.
probably is written for me. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it is just like, it's not, I mean, anyone, like it's just everything shouldn't fall on the captain. There should be one more helping hand. That's what it means.
Okay.
Yeah. If you are lucky to have an extra player on the field. Mostly it's a struggle to get 11, but.
Okay. Thank
you. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Jagdish. Bye. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Dinesh bhai.
I mean, the meeting is not ended. So if you guys want to drop, that's fine. My next thing was I was going to go through the summary of the rules, which is at the beginning of the rules document. And that's mainly for new teams. Existing teams, if you know rules, if you know what they are, you can drop off. We don't want to hold you. But for new teams, I definitely want to go through the summary, like the first 2-3 pages where it's like the most of the important rules are covered. And then for new teams, like your first tournament, you can always reach out to the organizers for any questions that you have. There will be no penalty for you for asking questions. But if you played one tournament, second tournament onwards, if there is a rule is in the rule book and you ask a question, it's a $25 penalty. We can answer your questions. That's not a problem. But you need to be familiar with the rules already since you're playing in the tournament for more than one tournament. Okay. It's your call, people. If you want to stay, you can stay. New teams, if you want to stay. New teams, I would definitely advise you to be on the call when I'm going through the rules. Okay? I think the first rule, the second rule was already covered. The first two rules have been already covered by Dinesh. And the third rule is this is related to discipline. Any argument between the leg umpire and the players of the fielding team will be treated as a spot conflict. So leg umpire is still a player of the playing team. So the leg umpire cannot, by being an umpire, he cannot argue with the playing team. He is also a player. And if he participates in a conflict with the players of the fielding team, then it will be considered as a spot conflict. And in a spot conflict, there is no him like who started, who ended. If you're a part of a conflict, you'll be considered for penalty. So if you feel that a player is kind of instigating you, it's always better not to get involved in the conflict. You can go and report it to the umpire. And if that report comes to us, we will take strict action. There have been instances where like an opponent player humiliated you or passed some bad remarks. So very clearly audible to the umpire, but in the heat of the moment, you also got engaged into it. And then you felt that you said 2 words less than what he said. That doesn't matter to us. You also said some words, so you'll also be considered as a part of the conflict. However, if you feel that that player is really bad, misbehaving, and he needs to be punished, just hold your thoughts, hold your anger for a minute, report to the main umpire. We'll make sure that that player will get penalized. Very heavy penalties in TCC because TCC strongly believes that cricket is a gentleman's game, and that's how we want it to be played. No matter what a player is, how great a player is, if he doesn't leave his ego and his temper before he enters the field, there is no place for such players in TCC. Ganesh, move forward, Dinesh. So I think this is about the umpiring. For the new teams again, we are very strict on the timings for the game. The game has to start at the time when the game has to start. So if the umpire is not there, you don't have to wait for the umpire. You have to start the game. And if the umpire is not there when the game starts, there's a $50 penalty. Regardless of whether he joins the second ball or the third ball of the first over, the umpires are technically required to be at the ground 15 minutes before the game starts. So the moment they are not there, 15 minutes before the game, their delay has already started. But their penalty will start when the first ball is bowled and they are not there. And then like there are different levels of penalty as it goes. $50 if they are not there at the beginning, then $800 and then $100 and one penalty, like the details are there. However, for these penalties to be enforced, the teams are required to send an email to the organizer about the delay within 2 weeks of that happening. If the teams do not do that, there's no penalty. They'll have to go through the pain and there will be no penalty applied. Okay. Yeah, next, Dinesh. So yeah, just above Dinesh, just a little bit above. So there are like two kinds of penalties. So if the umpiring team fails to show up, or like there is a dollar penalty and a point penalty, if that happens in a playoff game, that point penalty will be applied to the next tournament. However, if the penalty, if the non-show happens within the league games, okay, this was some confusion by a team. Like, let's say your team played all the league games, but your umpiring was there and the league is still going on. If you miss the umpiring in that game, even though you've completed all your games and the league is still going on, the penalty will be applied to the league stage only, not to the next tournament like that. Did you understand what I was trying to say? Regardless of whether you have a game or not, if you miss a umpiring within the league games, the penalty will be applied within the league only, not in the next tournament. The penalty for the next tournament will be applicable only if you miss the umpiring in the playoffs. And then, so for like there is a two kinds of penalties if teams miss umpiring. One is point level penalty, the other one is dollar penalty. So the dollar penalty will apply regardless of whether there was a message in the WhatsApp group or not. But the point penalty will apply to the team only if there is a group, only if there's a message in the WhatsApp group saying, hey, umpire is not there. Because we want to give the chance to the, the team which missed the umpiring, that there was a message in the group, at least they can look at it and take action. Because, umpiring can be missed due to various reasons, genuine reasons. At least that team who is doing umpiring needs to be informed that their umpire is not there, because it's a point penalty. But even for all of this to happen, the email has to come. No email, no penalty. Okay. Next. Dinesh. This is about trash on the field. Trash has to be cleaned before the teams leave the ground. It is the joint responsibility of both the captains to inspect the ground before they leave ground and around, like the playing area, to make sure that there is no trash left on the ground. It cannot be said that I did my job, my team did my job, their team trash was there. We don't care. There should not be any trash. It's a joint responsibility. And if the next playing game teams report trash, we will take their word, because I believe no team is so mean that they'll just report trash for the sake of, they'll put trash and report trash for the sake of like for the sake of giving pain to the other teams. If the teams say that there was trash, we'll take their word, and there is a penalty for the teams which left the trash, because somebody else had to clean your trash. So that's why the penalty is there. I mean, teams feel bad when the penalty is applied, saying, oh, no, it was not there. No, guys. If a team reports that there is a trash, yes, there is a trash. No discussion around that. And we will apply the penalty regardless of which team it is. So at least, just both captains, before you leave the ground, please make sure that you inspect the ground, have a round. Everybody is in a hurry, I know that. But if you are in a hurry, be aware that there will be penalty if there's trash. And then the rule number 8 is like in cricket clubs, if the game starts without the minimum 7 players for both the teams being entered, both teams should have at least 7 players. There's a penalty
So
of.
this is why I was confused earlier, Jagdish.
Okay. Go ahead.
So I thought both teams had to have 6 players available in order to be able to play, regardless whether you're batting first or not.
No, I think the confusion there is that, see, your team is there, right? It's not as if you don't know what your team is. Your teams are not on the ground, but in cricket clubs, your team players have to be entered. It's related to that. It's not that you start, like, you don't know when the game starts, that you don't know who are your 11 players. I don't think that is possible. The players may not be on the field, but in cricket clubs, your players have to be there. 7 players from each team.
Okay,
minimum.
now I get it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And this is the same thing. 9th rule is basically the same thing. There is no, some teams have the impression that there is some grace time to start the game. No grace time. 3:15 the game has to start. It has to start. Don't wait for the umpire. Don't wait for anybody. The teams are there. You have to start. And please enforce the rule. The team which does not have the required number of players, they are the fielding team or their home team. The captains have to be very strict about this. Sometimes, you guys want to be nice to the other team. You don't report. You will allow them to play a delayed game, then you lose the game, then it's, oh man, I should have followed the rule. Just follow the rules, guys. Don't be nice to anyone. Just follow the rules. If there is a team which is fielding, and if it is only 6 players, they delayed the game by 10 minutes, they get 2 overs less to play. Be professional and don't complain afterwards. If you're nice initially, okay, be nice. Don't complain if you lose the game very closely.
Jagdish, just a quick question on this. I have a couple of questions. One,
Sure,
I
go ahead.
thought Trick Clubs does not allow you to even start the game if you don't have all the players entered. Is that not correct?
I think so. You are right, actually. It requires 11 players, I think.
Right.
But I
So,
don't know. We'll have to check on that. We'll have to validate, because I've seen games happening without 11 players being entered.
I think those games happen because people either use substitutes or have players who are not going to make it at all entered in.
That's also
So,
fine, right? But I think I did see in the past, the rule was there. The rule was brought up because I did see that the one team did not have number of players entered, and then the game started.
Yeah, but the thing is, then if you have like 8 players and then you put 2 star players in there, they never show up, and then they could be eligible for the playoff then.
Even if they are not played?
Yeah,
yeah, I
so
mean,
let's say I have 10 players available, and we play with 10 and we win the game or we lose the game. But let's say we win the game, then one of our star players didn't show up for that game. I put my name as the 11th player.
So I think the rule that there is, like, you should have minimum 7, and you can add. So let's say the 7 players, the players are not there on the field, right? You have to add the sub players in their place, and you can add a maximum of 4 sub players. And the sub players are created per team.
Yeah, I think if you use sub players, then there's no confusion. But if you put someone else's name, I guess that's
See, I
wrong.
think that's the issue, right? So I think no, these are good questions. So to avoid all these kind of things, right? We have requested all players to have pictures on their profile, right? And if somebody puts a player's name who is not in the game, I mean, the opponent team can always raise the question saying that, right, this guy is not there. And if that gets reported, they are anyways ineligible for the game. See, it's only to a certain extent that the rules are there, like foolproof. It's also the responsibility of the opponent captain to make sure that players who are listed there are also playing the game. Right? We have put as
Yeah, I
many
think
rules as
so. I think
possible.
so. Yeah, we need to do the right thing no matter what, right?
Yeah. We have put as many rules as possible. We have said the profile picture has to be there, so that the opponent team can always validate if that player is there or not. And if you're batting first, I mean, there's no limit, right? You can come anytime. But if you're fielding first, your player cannot be there beyond 10 overs. After that, he becomes a regular player, any sub player. There are rules to cover all these kind of scenarios, like specific scenarios. If you join all the rules together, definitely. I mean, whoever has brought these questions, you kind of read all the rules related to players. If you still have questions, we are open to suggestions to fix them. Okay. Just as we are very strict about starting the game on time, we are equally strict about finishing the game on time, because we feel that every team is entitled to the full game time. If you are delaying the game, then there are very strict rules. Like if the delay is anywhere between 0 to 2 overs, there is a penalty. If there is anywhere between 2 to 4 overs, there is more penalty. If it is 4 to 6, there is further penalty. And at the end of the game time, if the second innings has 6 or more than 6 overs left, regardless of whether only 2 wickets were remaining or 1 wicket is remaining, the game is treated as washed out. Both teams will not get any points, 0 points, and there will be penalty also. You cannot go at the end of the game time, the second innings cannot have more than 6 overs remaining. The game has to be immediately stopped. Nothing. All the scorecards will be deleted. They'll get 0 points and probably some penalty as well. And related to the umpiring, I mean, typically the umpirings are given like consecutive umpirings. So in the past, what used to happen was like the penalty, like there is a penalty on the first game because they delayed the game. And that if the second game, they decide to play a reduced over game because of the reduced time, then they will get whatever penalty was applied to the first game, those teams will get the penalty. But here, what used to happen was the umpire was the same in the first game and the second game. So the same team lost it in the first match, but got it in the second match. So it was a wash for the umpiring team. So if the two umpires are from the same team for the two games, then the second game, he will not get the penalty, like the benefit of the penalty. It will go only to the playing teams. That's that.
Wait, I have a question on that one.
Sure.
So who's the authority to stop that game? Is if it is a more than you said, like the game should be stopped, but like who's going to ask them, the both teams, to the game should be stopped?
Playing team, the second game's playing teams. You have the
Okay.
second game's playing teams can go into the ground if more than 6 overs are remaining from the first game.
Okay, or
But if
we
you
have
go,
to ask, we have to request the umpire to stop the game, or like captain.
whoever.
Okay.
But you cannot step into the game if there
Yeah.
are less than 6 overs because somebody did that mistake
Yes.
and they are penalized. Okay.
Yeah.
Because as long as the first game is going on and the delay is within 6 overs, the second game players or anybody cannot go into the game and interrupt the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Jagdish, I mean, the umpire has the full authority at the start of the second innings side, whether he wants to play the reduced over game or not, irrespective of whatever the teams decide.
Sorry,
if
I
he
didn't get
thinks
it.
there is no, if the umpire thinks that there is not enough time to play the second innings, the entire like allocated overs, either 18 hours or 10, 20 hours, then before the start of the second innings, the umpire has the full authority to reduce the game, right?
Absolutely. I mean, there are like multiple points. That's a good point, Gautam, that you brought up. So there are multiple opportunities for the teams and the umpires to make sure that the game completes within the required time. First opportunity at the beginning of the game. For whatever reason, the game starts delayed. Whatever reason, right? I don't want to put the blame on anyone. If both teams are responsible, the umpire is responsible, and the 15 minutes, let's say 20 minutes are lost. The game starts 20 minutes delayed. There was dew, there was wetness, this, X number of reasons. Both teams and the umpires have to take a call. Okay, guys, 20 minutes lost, 4 overs lost. If it is a 20 over game, let's play 18 over game. That's the first opportunity. Okay, you let it go because you have confidence that you'll finish the game on time. Then at the beginning of the second innings, there's again that opportunity. Given the time for a second innings and given what is there, teams can always take a call again saying that, okay, guys, we have only so much time. First innings, 20 overs we played. Okay, second innings cannot be more than 15 or 16 overs. And it has to be the revised run rate, whatever. We'll play with that. So that's the second opportunity. Third opportunity, let's say due to some reason, in the second innings also there's a long delay. Something happens, untoward happens. Then also the teams have an opportunity to discuss and reduce the game and revise the run rate again. So those are the three opportunities. If you miss all those three opportunities, that means you're willing to pay the penalty. That it's a conscious decision by the playing teams and the umpires to pay the penalty. And that penalty can go up to 6 overs. If it is beyond the 6 overs, that's it.
So yeah, so if there are more than 6 overs to be bowled, so that time, like if rule is there, like that match will be decided on the DLS.
No. See that those guys have to decide to end the game. If they are not ending, these guys will go and stop the game. It will be, if there are more than 6 overs left, that's it. That game they cannot decide on anything. It will be like all the scorecard will be deleted. Both teams will not get any points. Okay.
Okay.
You have crossed all limits basically. सारे हद पार कर दिए बोलते हैं बेशर्मी के सारे हद पार कर दिया अभी कोई solution नहीं है उसका. Okay. You got 3 opportunities, guys. In the game, you got 3 opportunities. Beginning of the game, beginning of the second innings, due to a very inordinate delay, I mean, not due to any reason. Something happens, right? Somebody gets injured, he falls, a lot of time lost. Okay, again, take a decision, reduce the game. If not, okay, pay the penalty. The 13th one is if a team decides to end the innings abruptly when the other team is willing to continue the game based on the number of overs decided at the beginning of the second innings, that will be treated as a forfeit by the team who decided to walk away. And then if the teams decide to play, like the teams are still willing to play the game, and the umpire decides to end the game abruptly, within the rules, right? Within the rules, the teams have decided, okay, we'll pay the penalty, and the umpire decides to end the game abruptly, then the umpiring team will get a penalty of 1 point because the umpire cannot end the game now abruptly because the umpire lost all the opportunities in the game beforehand to reduce the overs. Suddenly, एकदम भूत आया मन में ऐसा नहीं कर सकता umpire. No, now I have to end the game. Okay, dude, pay a penalty of 1 point for your team. That's what it is. Okay. That's the 14 mentioned. And then the 15 is one which a team committed a mistake in one of the tournaments in the past. If the teams of the next game walk in to disrupt the game when the previous game is in progress within the allowed delay for a game with the applicable penalties, such teams will be penalized 1 point. You cannot get in, guys. The game is going on. The delay is within 6 hours. You have to be outside the ground. You cannot go in the ground and argue with the umpires or the players. Okay, this is fine. Okay, and these are like rules very strictly prohibited: player-to-player argument, group conflicts or spot conflicts, player to umpire, neutral or Dinesh can go further up. Player to umpire, neutral or batting team leg umpire. Argument, right? Abusive words, behavior towards the umpire, neutral or batting team. Again, here, batting team leg umpires, you get abusive words, you go and tell the main umpire. You cannot get into a conflict. If you get into a conflict, you get reduced from a leg umpire to a player, and it will be considered as a spot conflict. And there are very strict penalties for physical offenses. I don't want to go into them. You guys read it. The only thing is, please play the game like a gentleman. If you don't know how to play, please don't come to TCC. Very clear message. This is like when the umpire is not there. You guys decide. I mean, it's like there are detailed rules for that. We want the teams to still play the game, but two teams love each other so much that they cannot play a game. Those rules are for them. Okay. Next, Dinesh. Any walkover penalty will be $75. So the reason for that is in TCC, we want teams to play the game. So whoever gives a walkover, they have to pay a penalty. That is $75. Because the team who wanted to play, they lost it, right? They lost an opportunity to play again. People come to play the game, so you've denied them an opportunity. But you might have so many reasons. That's okay. Pay the penalty, which is $75 per walkover. Yeah. This is about the measuring tape. The teams will provide the measuring tape. Home teams will be using the tape to. I think this is applicable only for Matski West now, because Matski East, we know where the boundaries are. JPL, we know where the boundaries are. Okay. An unfair movement, Dinesh covered it, so nothing. This is about the duplicate creation of players. New teams, please listen carefully. You cannot create duplicate players. Old teams, don't pay attention. Also listen carefully. You cannot create duplicate players. Before you create a player in TCC, always go and hit search, player search. In that, search with the first name, because there could be like, different like variations of last name. So see if the player already exists. It's very simple. If the player already exists, just write a note to me or Dinesh. We'll transfer the player right away to your team. But if you do not do this and create a duplicate player, and if it comes to our notice, there's a $25 penalty for each duplicate player created. And I have observed that new teams follow these rules nicely. Existing teams, they don't pay attention. Next. That's my observation. Okay, it's the same thing which I mentioned. Captains and umpires are expected to know the rules. I mean, we are not just putting the burden on the captains only. Umpire, whoever comes for umpiring, they are also expected to know the rules. If they reach out to the organizers, either me or Dinesh, and the rule is in the rule book, you'll get an answer from us. It will be a $25 penalty for each question. Okay, and that 27, I don't want to cover Dinesh, it's okay. 28, smoking, vaping is not allowed. If it comes to the notice, and there are good teams also in TCC, thank you so much for them. There are teams who want to play by the rules. There are teams who want to enforce the rules. We're extremely thankful to such teams. So don't think that if the organizers are not there or organizing committee, like, or the TCC, like TCC administration is not there, you can sneak away by smoking or vaping. If you do that, there are good teams who will report it. And if we find that, if we get the proof, if we get the evidence, then there will be $100 penalty for each player doing it. Like, for example, if in a team, 5 players are sitting, having a party and vaping or smoking together, there will be $500 penalty on the team. Okay, next. And this is the responsibility of the umpire. So if the umpires do not know the documented rules, the umpiring team will be penalized for $50 for each instance. So the umpires, whoever want to do umpiring in TC, please read the rules and come, because teams are very competitive. They are very heated sometimes. You'll be the boss on the field if you know the rules. Show the rules, then you can boss the teams. If you yourself don't know the rules, teams will play around with you. And then this is about the impact player. Some confusion by teams in the past. I've not seen that of late. Great. Impact players can be used only in playoff games, not in league games. If you use impact players in league games and claim ignorance, innocence, whatever you do later on, sorry, it's an ineligible player, so you lose the game. Next.
Jaguba, can I ask you something about the previous point?
Which one?
About if the umpire didn't know the rules that he will be penalized, how do we go about that?
So there are 2 ways about it. If the umpire doesn't know the rule, the captains and managers are expected to know the rules. So the umpire
Like you look it up on the phone or like rule book and tell them this is the rule?
Correct.
Okay.
And the umpires are given, the captains and managers are given full authority to stop the game if the umpire is not following the rules.
Yeah, then do we report it to you or Dinesh with the incident that we have to look up the rules and umpire didn't know?
Absolutely.
Is that okay?
Yes. Yep. And we have given you the power to even stop the game. The funny thing is the captains and managers also don't know what the rules are. They'll come back after the game is over. They'll go and look up the rule, and then they'll say, oh, this rule was not followed. My question is, okay, why didn't you do that in the game? What stopped you from doing that?
Actually, I'd see some teams are starting to doing that. Like we did that a couple of times during last couple of games.
I'm proud of your team. Great. Yeah. That's what I want from captains and managers. You should know the rules.
Yeah, because everyone needs to be, if you're not aligned with the rule book, then they need to be on board. And then umpires, even the umpires needs to be responsible for that. But I think this is a good rule.
Yeah, I mean, I have told Ranjit, Ranjit helps most of you in sending the umpires. You told Ranjit very clearly that this is our expectation for the umpires to know the rules. And for all of your information, we conduct a training for the umpire also for every tournament. I have offered that to Ranjit. Ranjit has accepted the offer. Interested umpires can join the training, and there's a video recording which I asked Ranjit to share with the umpires. So we do everything possible to enable the umpires, okay? Because we know quality umpiring is one of the vital points for a successful game. And so, again, related to the umpire, right? There are two things. One is the umpire is not knowing the rule. Second thing is the team feeling that it's out or not out. That's not at all acceptable. Umpire's call is final. If the teams decide whether a batsman is caught or not, then there's no need for umpire. Send the umpire home. You guys, you do your umpiring because you're better than the umpires. Only the umpire can decide whether there was an edge or not you guys. Batsman will always feel he's not out. The keeper will always feel that he is out. You're not going to take that into consideration. The umpire has the final call.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on that. But I'm specifically referring to situations like, for example, no ball, beam or no ball. It's something like that. That clearly it states, this is the rule.
Yeah.
If that's what I'm talking about.
100% agreed. Please do that. Please stop the game. Please show the rule. I'll be very happy if you guys start doing that. Okay. Okay, Dinesh, move on. I think this is 31 is related to mainly if the team withdraws. That I've kind of started putting it before the tournament even starts when you're confirming. So that's mainly related to that. Okay. And this is about the profile picture. For new teams, you get up to 2 weeks to make sure that your team has all the profile pictures. But for existing teams, day one, they should have the profile pictures. And there was confusion around here also that if the player is an existing TCC player and they are playing in your team for first time, you'll get 2 weeks. No. If it's an existing player in TCC, if he's playing in your team, he has to have the profile picture. If not profile picture, ineligible player, your team will lose the game. Okay. More, Dinesh? That's it. Dinesh, can you go to the last rule one more time? Sorry, I think I saw something different. The summary, in the summary. So mandatory for new players who are playing for the first time. Okay, there's an exception there. For new players who are playing for the first time in TCC, the profile needs to be updated with the picture within a week. Okay, that's it. That is the one I noticed and I wanted to let them know. That's about it. I think if you go through those summary rules, how many pages are there, Dinesh? Like 3. How many pages are there? The summary? Probably 3-4 pages, I guess.
Yeah, I think 6.
Yeah, 6 pages. This covers 90 or 95% of the questions that come up. The next 5 are very specifics. If you want to be very good at specifics, you can go through the remaining. But if you cover these, you're covered like 90% of the time.
So Jabu, I have 2 questions. One is like if the game is happening in a like a rainy condition, the first inning went very well without any interrupt the rain, and the second game is happening, but the for example like 20 overs game, that should like the second inning, like how many minimum overs should be done?
Yeah, I think Dinesh answered that question. 10. For a game to be treated as complete, the second inning should have the half of the number of overs completed as laid out in the tournament. So if it's a T20 tournament,
okay,
10 overs have to be completed.
So if the game is suppose first is 20 overs and some reason they reduce to like suppose 10 overs. So
10
that
overs?
yeah, like for example.
No, I think
no,
the
like
game cannot be reduced to 10. No, the game cannot be reduced to 10. 10 have to be completed for it to be a complete game. Okay, go ahead. Sorry, I'll let you finish your question.
Yeah, so the game like was decided to play with the 10 overs. So that also the game should be completed before the end, like 5 overs, right?
No,
and
no,
after...
no. It has to be 10.
So
Even the
Pratap, so for a 20 over tournament, minimum over should be 15 over game is what you should start with. If
Yeah.
if there is a delay.
Yeah.
And the team batting first should bat 15 overs and the team batting second should have batted at least 10 overs.
Correct.
Only then the game is complete.
Treated as a complete game.
Okay, like because this is like a I feel that like not fair for the second team because they already played half of the game, and if it is a rain, so that after the rain it will be again be decided as per the DLS rule, or it should be played more overs, and after that it will be game decided with the DLS rule. So it was happening in our last match, so that's why.
What is the scenario?
Yeah, I think Pratap, sometimes, right, I mean, regardless of how much the rules are framed, right, some situations will always come. I mean, rule cannot cover 100%. That is my overall statement, but Dinesh wants to know specifics. So if we can explain him the specifics, probably he can answer the question. Yeah, go ahead. Explain the specific scenario that you got into. Pratap.
Yeah. No, like what happened? So we had a game last in our league games. The first inning, first team played 18 overs, 15 overs. The game was 18 overs, but because of the rain, the game delay started. So both team decided to play 15 overs. So first team played all 15 overs, and when the second team is batted, after the 15 overs game, after the start the game, the rain started after 5 overs.
Okay.
So we thought the game should be completed at least 7 overs because of the 15 overs game. The game should be completed 7 overs, and after the 7 overs, the results will be as per the DLS.
Okay, that was your thinking.
Yeah, so that time we checked with Dinesh, but Dinesh told the 10 overs minimum should be done.
Correct.
Yeah.
That has been the rule.
Yeah.
So that's where Pratap, this one, right? This sentence here. The minimum overs are determined by the maximum number of overs for a tournament and not on the number of overs reduced for a game.
Okay.
So even if if it is a 20 over tournament, minimum 10 overs should be batted by the team batting second. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And one more suggestion, if you can add instead of wicket keeper, you can add a best fielder, the awarded.
No, the issue with that, no, I'm telling you. So the issue with that is that the records maintained for the fielders are not accurate.
Okay.
It's very difficult to give something based on inaccurate data. Whereas for keeper, it's a fairly accurate.
Yeah, I think that is true because most of the time it's the opposing team recording the game, and they usually don't get the fielders' names correct. Some teams go back and correct those ones, but most of the time it doesn't really happen.
Yeah, we have a lot of cotton bold.
that is
I think other than keeper, everyone is doing hard work. Keeper is just standing and batting and go. But fielder is doing run out, like taking it in the 30 yard and the boundaries, running everywhere. So that fielder get something,
Yeah.
In that case, leading wicket taker is the best fielder, right? If everyone is given cotton bold, always given cotton bold, right? I'll be more happy in that case. Okay.
But it's a captain responsibility to check the scorecard and correct it.
Update it later, yeah.
Even if it is.
I mean, I'm just see based on what data I see, right? I mean, based on based on our own Houston team arrows doing the scoring, what I see is that the fielding data is not very accurate and not reliable. However, the wicketkeeper data is mostly reliable, so that's why we go with that.
No, I agree with that, Jacobai.
Yeah.
And just one more question related to updating the player. Like if in case like the captain decided that, hey, we don't have our regular players and we need to put a substitute on field, right? And now, say for example, for the first league game, we started with a substitute, but then we realized that that person will going to be will be staying for the league. Now I want to create that as a player. Can I update that player in place of the substitute one that I chosen before start of the game? Can I do that? Can I update that player at the later stage? Say I'm just picking Pratap Bai here. Say Pratap Bai started playing with Big 12, and he's not registered in TCC. But I started for my first game. I started put him as a substitute. Like, okay, there's a substitute player in my team. Now Pratap Bai decided that okay, he'll be playing with Big 12. Moving on, and I want to create a profile. I can always create a profile and add him to my team, but because I chose a substitute player for my first game, can I go back and update that player or no?
Okay, Dinesh, have you understood the question?
Did I confuse you all?
Yeah, no, I understand the question. It is a very unique scenario.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
I did not understand the question, so I'll let Dinesh answer because he understood the question.
Yeah, I mean, Jagubai, what he's saying is basically they started with 10 players and they just found somebody on the field. Okay.
Okay.
And
So
then
they
they
start
added that player.
They
They didn't
found
have
somebody
11
on
to
the
begin
field.
with.
They did not have 11,
Yeah.
but
No.
they did not have 11, so they started with only 10. Okay, I'm with you.
Random, yeah.
They started with 10 and then they found a random guy on the field who helped them in the fielding, let's say, right?
Okay.
He fielded
Then
for
you
10
can-
overs and then it was later decided that he will continue to play for the game
Okay.
and play for the team
Okay.
as a player. So now they
Okay.
want to, initially they added him as a substitute, but now they want to change it to, I mean, to show him as a regular player in the team.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I may want to pick that player for the playoffs as well. So I want that player to be eligible. So can I go back and update that player?
Yeah,
That
it
was
can
my
be
question.
always done, no? It can be always
You,
done.
you can do it during the game
No,
also,
but
Yeah, even during the game you can do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
That
I
was my
think that
question.
if a player plays more than 10 overs, then automatically that player becomes regular player, right?
Correct.
I did not
I
know
think
that.
what they are saying is that he's not there in TCC to start with initially.
Yeah.
But you can add the
So you
player
can-
during the game in the app. You can always add a player during the game.
Okay, got it.
The players cannot be added using the app before the game. Like you cannot create a player by using the app when the game is not going on.
Yeah, exactly. That was my question.
But
Yeah.
when the game is going on, you can always create a player
Okay, got it.
in the team. Yeah.
But
Thank you.
that is limited to switching that player out before the end of the game, right? You can't go back 1 week later and change a particular player's name out
No, I
as a
think it
substitute.
is. No, I think there is a detailed process laid out for that. If you want to change, right? If you want to change the player, then you will have to inform the opponent. First of all, you will have to inform the opponent captain. Okay, he has to be aware. Then the process is that you'll be sending out an email to the organizer. The organizer will be on the copy basically. You'll be copying the opponent captain and telling him that, hey, this player, let's say Jagdish played instead of Dinesh, right? I put Jagdish's name even when Dinesh was playing, or the substitute's name even when Dinesh was playing. Now I want to change it to Dinesh. Can you please approve it? The opponent captain has to say, I know that Dinesh was playing. You guys put Jagdish. So I'm okay with changing from Jagdish to Dinesh. Organizers need just to be copied. They don't need to, the email doesn't need to be addressed to the organizer. And then you can do that change before the scorecard gets logged on Thursday. As long as that transaction happens, we are fine. You can change always.
Okay, got it.
Okay. But if you miss that window, it's gone. Okay. You cannot make the change, and eligibility and everything will come into picture. And if you made the change even within the window without informing the opponent captain, without informing the organizer, and some team complains about it, about his eligibility in the playoffs, we look for communication from the team. If there's no communication, he's treated as an ineligible player. If it's like it's just 2 games and then 1 game gets lost because of this.
Yeah, the same could be said about like if you put the wrong player and you didn't inform and it was kept in there,
Yeah.
then that could become a problem too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that is why we have made it like, mandatory for players to have pictures. People can always, the opponent captain, if he gets a doubt, he can always ask the question, guys, this face doesn't match. Dinesh and Jagdish's face are different. Who is this player? You can always ask. Okay. We have tried to make it as genuine as possible, guys, but people can still game the system. I mean, you can't specific. It will keep on happening. This rule book has grown into this humongous rule book because of those kind of things only. Just to be fair to the teams. Good questions, very good interactions, team. I'm really very happy that all of you are showing so much interest in knowing the rules. Any other questions?
We have to take TCC next level, Jagubai. So I think I request like you can start recording the games and cricket club. No, seriously, please think about that.
No, that's actually a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay, so what does it take? Anybody has an idea?
Something to keep in mind for maybe in the coming few
No,
days.
anybody has an idea of what it takes to get the games recorded in cricket clubs?
Like
anyone who is asking for this, do you have an idea of what it takes?
I'm not asking.
No, I'm just giving you the ideas.
Oh, ideas without solutions are not welcome. Sorry. Even in your workplace, right? Even in your workplace, you go to your boss.
We have committee, so the committee need to get the
solution.
solution.
Pratap, the committee is appointing you. The committee is delegating you.
No.
I'm going on mute. I do not want to pay $25 penalty now.
Even in your office work life, right? If you go to your boss with a problem, he'll say, okay, what's the solution?
That's why boss there, right? Boss gives us a solution.
We are not here to give. Ask, okay, what it takes. Let us know. We think.
No,
yeah, I have seen.
All you need to do is like contact the cricket clubs, and because there is a package, like okay, you can buy it, where they can give you the links for that you need to put it for those games, and yes.
Nice.
Yeah, Jagubai, I think that SSCL is doing that. We know, right? I told you last week.
Right.
Ninja Jagger and something he was telling me. So we can try that at least for the finals this time. Maybe we can try that.
Yeah, Dinesh has been given all the power to change anything that makes it easier, fancier, greater.
All the headache.
Yeah, actually, Dinesh said it right, point blank. All the headache is with Dinesh. So Dinesh can do whatever he wants.
So do you mean greater, bigger headaches? Everything is going to Dinesh by now?
Yeah, everything is Dinesh. I'm just chilling.
Yeah, look at his background.
I mean, ever since Dinesh has come on board, I'm just chilling, guys. I'm enjoying life. So thank you, Dinesh.
No, but on a serious note, I appreciate Dinesh by putting all the efforts for scheduling the games. That's really commendable. Thank you so much for doing that.
No problem, guys. Yeah. I tell Jagubai and also my wife that because of this, I've made a lot of friends. So I actually enjoy. That way I also, stay in touch with a lot of guys.
Yeah, made a friends without penalty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, with penalty, there can be no friends. I know it. less of friends and more of knowledgeable people about the rules. Okay, guys.
Good.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
I mean, this meeting is recorded, so we'll put the recording. Anybody wants to go through it. Okay. And
Yeah.
we'll do the one
Thank-
review, like a little more detailed review of the rules for the umpires. We'll put that recording also. Anybody who wants to do umpiring, you have to watch that recording. Okay.
Thank you,
Yes,
guys.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yep. Bye.
Thank you all. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you. Bye.